Hi everyone, I don't know if you've seen my future videos, but just to remind you, I'm a Notary Public in Louisiana. I passed the test after my second attempt in 2021, and I'm going to use this video to share some insight as to how I studied and what I did. So first of all, I went through all the steps to get registered, and you can find those steps on the SOS, the Secretary of State website for Louisiana. And I purchased this book here. This is the main one I'm going to go over today. So just to show you, they are very, very strict about how you use this book. You can bring it in for the test, but you have to make sure you follow the guidelines. So the first thing I did is I went and of course I read it first from front to back before I did anything, and then I tabbed it. So you can see I think they're not as strict on the color tabs, but I made sure my tabs were clear. And you can see here I tabbed every chapter here with clear tabs, and I just jotted my notes what chapter it was and what I wanted to be able to get out of those tabs, which did come in helpful for the test, by the way. Then I also noticed, looking at blogs and everything, that some people, instead of using the tabs because they can get caught up on things, they'll actually write in the spine. I didn't do that. I went with the tabs, and it worked fine for me. Also, yes, you can bring these books with you in the test, and only these books. You cannot bring loose paper. They will actually check that. They'll make you hold the book like this and shake it. Make sure you don't have any loose paper in there. So be careful of that. Now, along with the tabs and with this book, I purchased this handy dandy side piece. This is a lifesaver. I recommend anybody taking the test to get this book. And I mean it. It is this side piece, and this is 2021, but I'm sure there's going to be one for every year. There was one in 2020 and the years prior to, so I'm sure you'll be able to find them one for your test taking year. But make a note of this. It's on Amazon. This is a lifesaver when it comes to studying. So what I did is I took this side piece after I read the book. I read the side piece, and I made notes everywhere it said make a note of this. I made a note of that. And for the index part of things, let me actually show you what I did. So in the back of this book, the study guide, there is a section that has a glossary. Okay, it is Appendix B in the 2021 guide. It might be different in the future years, I don't know. But for 2021, it is Appendix B. In this glossary, it will list the majority, not everything you want to have indexed, but it'll list a lot. So from here, I went and I put the page numbers of where everything is. So like, for example, let's see, let me give a good example. So acknowledgement of paternity right here. So I put the page numbers everywhere that comes up for acknowledgement of paternity. And I did that for every item in the glossary. But I knew how to do that, not because I went through and read the book 100 times, but I went through it because it was advised to do it in our side piece book. And I'm gonna get to that page here where it starts. 1 second. So in the 2021 version of the side piece, there is a section, and I'm sure it'll be a similar section in the future ones, to index there. Index and additional explanations. So everywhere it said a topic and a page number, I went to my glossary and put that same page number, and you could see my little check mark saying that I did it. I went through every single one and I did it. If that word did not exist in the glossary, I wrote it in where it should have been, and I'll show you that. So let me me get back to my appendix here, my glossary. So here you can see my little print up at the top. Act of, oh, what is that? Act of Congress, act of subordination, those. I wrote those in there in, about the same alphabetical section that it should have been. It didn't exist in the glossary, so I just jotted that in and gave the page number. This helped a whole lot because when it comes to the test, they will mention certain little keywords, and if you go back in that index, you'll be surprised at those keywords. You'll have a page number written down in there, and you can go right to that page. Let me show you. See, I did this a lot. Pretty much in every page. I have notes all over the place. There's nothing difficult about this. It is basically just indexing all of the notes that are in here. Let's see, what else can I advise here? Then, some things that I just kind of wanted to be aware of or kind of go back to. I made extra notes here. I'm not going to go through the details of all these notes I took and all the highlights I made. To be honest, I didn't even refer back to them. I only used the index. Anytime something was mentioned, a keyword, again, I found that keyword in the glossary, went to the page or the pages, I put all the pieces together, and I made sense of the question. That ultimately is how I passed the test. Yes, I studied. Yes, I read the book. I passed after the second attempt. The first attempt, to be honest, I didn't put a lot of effort like I should have did. I took shortcuts, and I didn't even get a chance to finish indexing everything. But I went ahead and took the test anyway, and I didn't pass. But I didn't give up. I did it again. I studied a little bit more, read the book over a little bit more on some key areas, especially usufructs and servitudes. Those are some things I needed to go back on. Adult adoption, another area that I needed to go back on, just to kind of give you some little hints on what to look for in the test. And indexing, just make sure you're indexing. The first time I took the test, the questions were really not the same. It didn't have even a lot of the same topics. The first time I struggled on adult adoption. The second time there were no questions about adult adoption. I was more stuck on usufructs. So it just depends. And every year I assume is going to be different. Even every test in the same year is going to be different. But I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of what I did to study and to index. So this book and this book go hand in hand, and they are amazing. If you really put the effort with all the notes that are given here into this, take it with you on the test taking day, whatever year you're taking. Again, mine is 2021. Now we're in 2022, and soon we'll be in 2023 before we know it. But use the advice in this side piece, and just put a lot of thought into the questions. Take advantage of the 5 hours you're given. I think that's the best advice I can give for how to prepare for studying, and what helped me, at least. Thank you. Thank you for watching, and I hope you click like and subscribe, and leave me a comment if you have any suggestions or would like to see more or something in particular, and I will be glad to help. The test taking for the Louisiana Notary is not easy, so if there's any advice I can give, I would love to click like and subscribe. Thank you.